It's time for step 2 of our fall aspen paintings, and today we're going to be painting our trunks and our branches on on top of our background that we did in our previous class. So we're going to think about the aspen trees that we have seen, and we noticed that they have that really sort of pale whitish kind of bark. So I'm going to use my paint and just dip in, and you can think about how you want. You can have your trees like small, you can have them taking up the full entire area, whatever you want. I'm going to start this one at the top so it'll look like it's kind of really close to us, and we're going to bring it all the way down. This one will be kind of like how we noticed if we saw this on the first day. And so it's kind of a close-up of the trees with our background. So I will do, let's see, maybe a smaller tree. And you can see I'm making them reasonably straight, but I'm certainly not trying to make them perfectly straight. This one maybe is a little bit further back. And I think I will put another one over here. It's going to go all the way down. All right, and again, I always go a little more quickly when I'm showing you. You do not have to rush. All right, so that's the basics. Now I'm gonna try to put some of those darker markings in. I'm not gonna even wash my brush. I'm just gonna rub a little bit of the extra off. Get a little bit of black on here. Remember, with our acrylics, we wanna protect our clothes. So I'm just kind of bringing some of this over. And so we might have looked at a different way of doing this on another video. There's a couple of different ways, but this is just a little bit more controlled than the other version, if we noticed that. If not, don't worry about it. And sometimes I turn my paper upside down because being right-handed, it's easier for me to go from left to right when I'm painting. I just smooth that out a little bit. All right, while I've got it this way, let's go ahead and put a little bit on this one. I'm trying not to make it to use up all of my white or cover all of my white and make the whole thing gray. I want it to have a little variation here, so it's not all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get a little bit more white on here. And remember, we're going to have some foliage on here, so don't worry if you're not really super happy with your trunks and your branches today. You can have a lot of foliage on there, and that will cover up anything that you are not happy with. So a lot of ways we can take care of this. And again, I'm rushing a little bit. I'm just gonna come over here, go back a little bit. Now I could just take the edge of this brush and put some markings in too. You might prefer a thinner brush with a little bit more control. Up to you. Let me get a little bit of white here. All right, and so now I'm going to think about adding some branches. And the branches are often just kind of skinny little branches, so a tiny brush or the corner of your brush might work. And again, if you don't like what you've done, we can put a lot of leaves on top. And you can see I haven't washed my brush at all. I'm letting some of that white mix in. Just make sure that whoever you're sharing paint with doesn't mind if it gets a little bit mixed up. And think about the letter Y. These look like Ys, don't they? See, that's a little bit of what I would consider a branch I'm not super happy with. So I know that I'm going to be putting some leaves there. Again, I'm rushing, and this tree's in the background, so I want to make sure I don't have any of those branches go on top of this one. It would be okay for my trees that are closer to have branches that overlap this one because that's behind it. You can have a lot of branches, you can have a few branches. You're the artist. We say that all the time. You get to decide. Let's see, I think I'll put just maybe here. All right, so I'm going to call that done for today. I'm going to stop right here. It's going to go back on the drying rack, and we'll be ready for foliage during our next class.